is up, DCS Crew and wet shaving community? I have a special video here today on a double-edged razor that we're going to go ahead and take a look at. Today's razor that we're going to check out is the Merkur 34c. Now, this is the standard chrome-plated variant, and they do make a gold variant with gold plating named the Merkur 34g. This is an interesting razor, and I say that because it is initially a very mild razor. Two things you have to consider when you're going ahead and purchasing a razor is, number one, the blade gap. And as you can see, there's very little gap between the top cap and the base plate. Okay. Now, one other thing that you have to consider is the blade exposure. So once a blade is actually placed inside of this particular razor, it's basically blade exposure measures how far the blade comes out from the top cap, and it aligns with the base plate or aligns past it. So sometimes you can have negative blade exposure, sometimes you can have positive blade exposure. In this case, you do have a nice healthy amount of blade exposure, which really helps when you're going to do something that I'm going to refer to a little bit later as shimming. So the Merkur 34c is a two-piece razor. Okay, now you can take it apart, and there are additional pieces that come off when you're taking it apart, but for the most part, it's a very, very simple take down and assemble process. So what you do is you have the base plate, the handle, which at the bottom and the base, that you have some knurling down here, and allows you to be able to go ahead and loosen by twisting counterclockwise and tightening by twisting clockwise. So as you do that, what happens is twisting it counterclockwise allows you to loosen the top cap and allows it to unscrew from the base plate. You remove the top cap from the base plate, and then you have, well, in this case, I have some blades that have been placed in there with the edges that have been taken out so that they're no longer sharp. Just for the sake of this video, you can go ahead and remove your blade. So say, for example, you want to go ahead and place a blade into this particular double-edged razor. This is how it would start. You would unscrew it, remove the top cap from the base plate, get your double-edged razor, hold it by the edges this way and not by the sides so that you don't end up cutting yourself before your shave. Place the blade or the blades, if you're going to be shimming, through the top post, and make sure that the holes for the side posts also match the holes that are in the razor blade. Holding it to the side here, you go ahead and you place the top cap and you merge it with your base plate. And while it's upside down, you just basically twist clockwise while it ends up closing. The gap ends up closing in, and it is good to go, and you can go ahead and use this to shave. Now, you can use it with one blade, and it's going to give you a pretty mild shave. In fact, this is a very mild razor, being what it is. But what I typically like to do is I like to add what's called shims, and these are actually two examples of them. I've taken used razor blades and I've removed the blade edges on both sides here, so they're not going to cut me no matter what I end up doing. You don't shave with these, okay? But what you do is you use these to increase the blade gap on this particular razor, and this is something that I learned particularly with the Merkur 34c because of this long post. Because of the way this long post and these two small posts are mounted onto this handle, it allows you to be able to go ahead and screw this on once the razor blade is on here, and the additional blades that you add under it. This creates a little bit more of a blade gap when you are going ahead and you are tightening up the razor itself to go ahead and begin shaving. So it increases the blade gap, and it allows the positive blade exposure that I talked about earlier to be a little bit more pronounced and to work its magic into creating what some people would call aggressive, but I would call a more efficient shave. And this is really, really good for somebody who's beginning, who is used to the Merkur 34c, is already giving it too mild of a shave, and they want to use it for something that's a little bit more aggressive. Now, if you're interested in a three-piece version of this particular razor, they do have a longer handled three-piece version, and it's called the Merkur 23c. But I really recommend this one because not only does it allow you to be able to do that, and it's nice and compact in size, you can use it when you're traveling with this particular box, this is a Merkur travel case that is made specifically for knives like the for blades, razors like the 34C and the 34G, as well as retaining some razor blades with it. So in here, as you can see, okay, I have 2 boxes of 5 blades each. These particular boxes are razor blades that I use quite often. This is Gillette Nassets, and this is Big Chrome Platinums. These are a bit more sharp and a bit more efficient. If I want to get a nice close shave after a couple of days growth, I use this. But if I'm going to do something like an everyday or an every other day type shave, these are the ones that I go to. Now, these boxes of 5 and sometimes 10, instead of calling them boxes, they call them tucks. Okay, and what you do is you take these that have the blades in them, and they do come wrapped, and you can take a tuck, place it right here, take a tuck, place it right here in these little posts, and voila, you do now have a travel kit for wet shaving. I keep my shims in here, keep my tucks on both sides, and I have 10 blades, especially you know, with my shims, to be able to go ahead and use when I'm traveling around, or if I'm just going to keep it like this for storage. This is a great way to go ahead and keep the razor. Now, the Merkur 34c, in my opinion, because of these items that I did mention, is one of the most, if not the most, recommended for first-time shavers. Now, I didn't go this route, and I kicked myself for not doing that. I mean, granted, I still like a 3-piece razor. Okay, so if you're interested in something like that, like I said before, they have a longer handled 3-piece variant of this particular razor blade that's going to still give you, razor that's going to give you a good shave, and that's the Merkur 33c. But I prefer this one because you can make it a bit more aggressive with shimming. Okay, and like I said before, you know, because of the way that it opens and closes, it's very easy to go ahead and add and remove razors, as well as to clean. What you basically want to do is you take, you know, you can take some soap and water, clean everything in here. Obviously, try not to get too much water in there because then it'll end up rusting. But once you have everything ready to go and you've, you know, basically dried up the razor itself, what you want to do is you can take a Q-tip, kind of put some alcohol on it, and you can sterilize it by going around these little areas and making sure these little posts, which, like I mentioned before, this is not a stainless steel razor. This is a chrome plated, I want to say chrome plated black, I don't know, brass or zinc alloy, probably a zinc alloy. And you want to be able to make sure that this lasts as long as it possibly can. It will last, but you got to make sure that you maintain it well. So by cleaning it, you know, using some alcohol and a Q-tip, once everything is done, it keeps it nice and sterilized. It keeps it nice and water free. And one thing that I actually do that I highly recommend every now and again is you can take the razor apart by just kind of pulling at this very gently. And as you can see, this little kind of washer that's right there is actually what keeps this in place. You can take this off, you can clean it. I usually add a drop of a lubricant inside this little area right here. Okay, and then once it's done, place it right back nice and slowly. Kind of guide the washer back in. You'll have to give me a second because it's been a while since I've done this. And I'm doing it on camera. There we go. And you just kind of squeeze it very gently. Let it click into place. Try it a couple of times, make sure it works. And you're done. You go ahead and place the top cap back in. Screw it clockwise to be able to go ahead and close it, and counterclockwise to open it up again. So that's basically my recommendation as far as a beginner's razor. This is the Merkur 34c. You can actually pick this up in a lot of different venues, and there are a lot of different companies that sell a variety of different razors, this one included. But one place that I highly recommend you get this, because you do get it with free shipping, is the Razor Company. Okay, and while you're at it, be sure to go ahead and pick up, you know, a shave soap, maybe an aftershave splash, or, you know, even some balm from, you know, a company like Zingari Man. But if you choose to do that, remember that your boy from DCS told you to go ahead and check out the razor company, okay? Because anything after $10, well, pretty much most purchases after $10 is going to get you some free shipping. So, you know, just a little advice from me to you to kind of save money, because like I said earlier, or maybe I didn't say it earlier, save yourself the money that I couldn't by getting into this this wet shaving rabbit hole, because there are so many different things that you're going to want to try, so many different soaps, so many different blades, so many different razors, and you know, anything that I can do to kind of put money back into your pocket so that you can spend it on other stuff is a job well spent. And I feel like this video would not be done in vain. So that said, I'm going to go ahead and put this away, place it back into the travel case. I do have a trip coming up, and I may actually take this with me for the trip. Put my Gillette Nassets in there as my go-to, and then my my Bic Chrome Platinums in there as well. Close it up and be on my way. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you next time. But if you have any questions, feel free to comment below or send me an email about these, these products. Or if you just have any, advice you'd like to request from me with regards to general wet shaving. I'm still relatively new, but these are things that I've learned, and I'd be more than happy to share that knowledge with you. So that being said, take it easy, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.